say that I wasn't abundantly patient with him.
Yeah, I do believe you're being very fair with them. You see, here's the thing. I I just let him talk, and I just say that, man, you didn't answer the question, but you did give him 60 seconds, and you did. I would say this even more than what happens in certain conversations. You gave him a lot of leeway that I haven't seen you give a lot of people for a while. So I will give you that. And he still didn't answer the question.
He is, look, Hogtie is not a stupid person, but what he is well practiced in is bullshitting, which is what he was doing. He was bullshitting and he was bickering. Okay? Right? So what he's invoking the actuality and the efficacy and the intelligibility of scientific endeavors on top of a foundation of what are brute facts. Okay? But if they're on top of brute facts, then the facts that are built upon brute facts, then whatever goes on top of those brute facts turn out to be brute facts themselves. Okay? And they're meaningless. Van Til said brute facts are mute facts. Okay? They don't mean anything.
But he's saying that we're talking about abortion, and we are, but it's going to go back to these fundamental enthymemes that they you see. I'm not stating it to me because I'm being transparent about what my starting point is.
Of
A
course you
lot,
are.
a lot of these people don't want to be transparent about it at all.
No, they just want you to subtly accept their naturalism. Okay? And do you remember the book Pushing the Antithesis by
Yeah,
Benson? That's what I was just doing. I'm pushing the antithesis. Okay? On what basis do they invoke the coherence, intelligibility, and the actuality of the efficacy of science? On
yeah.
what? In
I
their
think,
not God world, what provides for that? Well, they
yeah.
have nothing.
I
All they
think
have,
both.
yeah,
I
all
think
they have
both
are brute facts.
JT and Paul was in here where this guy was asking. He was stating over and over again that he doesn't need to talk about his metaphysics, and he got to the point to where he got sick of me asking him about his starting point, and then he just leaves and says, "You know what, man? Have a good day," and then he rage quits because he couldn't answer the question. He couldn't tell us where he was grounding his assertions from.
All of their assertions are built on a foundation of I don't know. Okay? Did you hear him when I asked him
He
what
said, "I
makes
don't
matter?
know."
Yeah. So everything that he asserts in terms of the efficacy of science is in virtue of I don't know.
And they talk about presuppositional apologetics is lazy, or presupps are lazy. These people are the ones who are lazy. They don't want to do the deep philosophical legwork. They just want to star on these granite axioms and properly basic beliefs or whatever they want to call them and just say, well, I don't know. We don't want to look at the man behind the curtain. Nothing to see here, folks. We just start on I don't know. And then the rest of the conversation is had after I don't know. And
So here's what we should do. The next time somebody asks us a surgically precise question and we're uncomfortable with answering it, first thing you do, according to the atheist MO, is filibuster and then rabbit trail. When we get called out on rabbit trailing and filibustering, and our interlocutor continues with a precise question that we don't want to answer, just impugn them as to hijacking the conversation. You see the devious strategy that they deploy.
yeah, I got you. That's right. But we can't get these people to answer the question. None of the people who's arguing this evil of killing babies or anything is telling us what their metaphysic is. Not a single person has told us at all. Not one since I started the conversation this morning.
Nor
But
nor
there's been no shortage of red herrings introduced and rabbit trailing off onto unrelated things like that.
Exactly.
What was her name? Sasha. Tried to define abortion or justify abortion because of miscarriages.
did you notice that that Hogtie tried to deploy a group of worldview body doubles.
What specific point are you talking about? I can't recall.
He tried to say that earlier on. He said that there are a number of worldviews that could provide for that.
Oh yeah, I got you. I remember
Yeah, but
that.
these are worldview body doubles. You see, it's his worldview that has to provide for that. If he deflects to saying there could be other worldviews out there, this is not coherent because all of those worldviews stand in contradiction to his worldview, whatever that is. Okay. But then when he tried to, say that naturalism can account for the actuality, intelligibility of scientific endeavors, we find that he couldn't defend naturalism.
Yeah, I was just simply asking him before you came in here, how do you get an ought strictly from what is the case? And he couldn't answer the question. Well, he instead said, well, he actually ended up conceding that point and said, well, we can have certain things informed, like ethically, about what is the case from certain scientific endeavors and outlooks. And then that's when, the questioning that you started giving him, like, instantiated. And he wouldn't he wouldn't give us his predications on where these come from. He would just say, "Well, I don't know."
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
in
you're
other
right.
words,
All of his views about
yeah.
science. Yeah,
So in other words, for him, science is real, actual, and intelligible, in virtue of I don't know. That was it. That's his position.
I don't know, but it's intelligible anyway, man. I don't have to tell you how. I don't have to know how. Just assert that it's intelligible, and there you go. That's all that's required. That's essentially what we've been getting all morning. It is the case and justified simply because we say so.
So what can we learn from Hogtie? What we saw on full display was a typical atheist MO of diversionary tactics of obfuscating, prevaricating, and then poisoning the well, right? And then he wanted to be kicked because he realized he couldn't defend naturalism.
Well, he admitted outright that he just didn't know. So that'll definitely play into certain actions being made because if you don't really know, you're gonna try to find a way to get away from the fact that you can't defend it on some level. I've been asking all morning, where does the right to abortion come from? Not a single person can answer the question. I'm not talking about giving a response. I'm talking about, you were gonna say something, Paul?
Well, did you hear Sasha's reply to that? Because you have an ability to, it is a right.
I think
That's what she
Stasia is
was
her
arguing
name.
for.
I think her name's Stasia.
Stasia?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, she said simply because someone has the ability, they have the right, and laws are passed to prevent you from doing that right.
Yeah, she started out by saying the ability to do something is a right to do it, which is a very sloppy, proprietary way to codify what rights are. That just seems very sloppy and messy. No one I've ever heard of has defined rights in the way she did. But she ended up
Well,
conceding that that's not a very useful definition, though.
did she?
Yeah, she did end up conceiving the issue between freedom and rights, and not how they're not necessarily the same thing. And even AJF had pointed that out.
Well, it's not so much freedom; it's ability, right? You have anyone has the ability to murder someone else, you know, but that doesn't give them the right to do it. So we know that, based upon that, ability doesn't equal rights.
Agreed, for sure.
Yeah, she was just using the word rights in the wrong way. At least she was using it in a very confusing way.
Because if a right is just the ability to do something, and I have the ability to scratch my skin, I don't know if I'll codify that as a right. I have the ability to eat, and I have the ability to satiate my hunger once I'm hungry. I don't know if that's right because it just seems like she's just conflating rights with just actions.
But did you notice what happened when Darth started talking to her and she was asked basically if she could defend her worldview and she said no, and she said that basically she doesn't like she can't she can't know what is really the case, and then she said that she knows that and immediately contradicted herself. I
Well,
think
she
that
she went on to say, and because she doesn't know, she knows that you don't know either, or we don't know either,
yeah,
right?
that's what I mean. Yeah, so she
Yeah,
immediately contradicted herself.
right. It's self-refuting. Now she's making a knowledge claim.
But we can't get one person to come up here and give a rational, cogent defense on where the right to abortion comes from. Not one can do it. Not one can do it, okay? So they believe this crap based on their own feelings. The bottom line is this: what it comes down to is they have a certain way that they live their lives, and when the baby's in the womb, there's no room for how they live their lives. So, because of that, they want to murder the baby in the womb to facilitate the carelessness and the irresponsibility in their own lives. None of this comes from any legitimate line of inquiry or argumentation. They just simply want to live their lives in such a way to where they don't have to be responsible to the child being produced in the womb. And all these other arguments are red herrings. When they talk about it's a clump of cells, when they talk about it's not a person, it's not a human, all this other crap. These are side track, sidetracking talking points. The bottom line is they don't want to be responsible for the children they create, so they want to make up these insane arguments to justify killing their own kids. That's what it comes down to. They don't have any right to do any of this crap. It has nothing to do with my body, my choice. It has nothing to do with any of this nonsense. Because they can't tell us where the right, what is the so called right, even comes from. They just make this crap up. They just pull it out of thin air.
Yo, what's up?
Sorry, I just had a question. I'm not really trying to argue for either position, but I just wanted to know the argument for certain cases for like, let's say rape. What would be the justification to for not justified cause for if a woman gets raped and she has to either abort her baby or not abort it?
I'll tell you why. Because they can't stipulate. Number one, I don't believe in saying because one wrong has been done. Like the way that a child's conceived, it means it has to die if someone says so. I don't believe two wrongs make a right, first of all. And second of all, if you're going to instantiate that as a right, when are you going to say that it's a right? How long is it going to be a right? For 3 months, 6, 9? How long?
Let's say whenever a woman gets raped, I guess I don't know.
Oh, so does she have an obligation to terminate right away?
No, I didn't want to argue either side. Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you're arguing. I'm just putting these just a food for thought. Does she? Would she have just food for thought? Would she have to terminate right away?
Sure, yeah,
Why? She could
because
be
it,
juggling a wide range of emotions. She may not want to just outright off the top terminate right away. What if she thinks about it for like maybe 4 months and then changes her mind?
have a given situation where the woman doesn't have the financial needs to take care of the child, or and she's dealing with trauma, and
Yeah.
I guess.
So I'm saying, are you saying that raped women are obligated to terminate right away? Are they obligated to?
Um, Sure. Yeah. For sake of argument. Yeah. Okay. I guess. Yeah.
Why would you put that in that position? Why would you say that they must terminate right away?
I guess so the child doesn't grow up uh like mentally like abused or like not sufficiently uh been able to take care of I guess.
And would you say they have the right to decide that or not?
I think all people born have a right to decide whether they should live or die.
Yeah. I'm saying if a woman's raped, does she have the right to decide how long she can terminate? Yes or no?
Uh, I'm not sure how to answer that because if I answer that, it's just I'll just say yes. Yeah, sure. I mean,
So she does have a right to decide. So she can terminate at 8 months, even correct?
yeah, sure. Yeah, we could say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you would say she's justified in killing a baby that can live outside the womb if born prematurely.
Um, I mean, I wouldn't say so. I'm just saying it for sake of argument. I don't believe that that is right to kill a baby outside of the womb.
Well, I'm just saying if this is going to be a line of thought you're going to use, when are we going to stipulate and how long? Because
I
there's
guess
serious questions you have to answer, even in this horrible scenario. You got to answer these questions.
right before the embryo is formed. I guess I don't. I guess that's
Yeah.
how.
Again, and would that be an obligation or not?
I don't think it would have to be an obligation. I guess it would
Yeah.
based off what the woman chooses. Yeah.
Yeah. So she could decide how long or short, even up to before it's born, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. All right. At least you're honest about it because you're saying she can terminate the child even if it could survive outside the womb. She can still kill it. At least you're honest about it. It doesn't matter if it can survive. She can still kill it even up till birth. What if she was in what if she was in labor? Would you still say before it comes out she can kill it?
Yeah. If I were to take that line of reasoning, yeah, sure.
Do you actually believe that?
No, no, I don't. I was just asking for the arguments because I've heard you back in Reformation. We talked about this a few times, like a year or two
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
And I'm just saying. Wait a minute. What name did you go under?
It was guys. It was guys. I don't know
Oh,
if you
I
remember.
remember. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I just think you're just hard pressed to have a demarcation line if you're going to justify abortion in this scenario.
Yeah, it was just for the rape scenario because
Yeah,
I guess people have presented it to me. I didn't really know how to argue against it.
yeah, but I've asked that question to them, and they never can answer the question because they're on two horns of a dilemma. They have to justify either killing the baby late term, or they have to say that she doesn't have a right to maximally determine how long, which means that they would be putting an imposition on her choice. And they're getting mad at pro-lifers doing that, but they're doing the same thing. So it's okay when they do it, but when pro-lifers do it, it's a problem. They can impose limitations on the rape scenario, but when pro-lifers do it, it's a problem. So they're hypocrites. Sasha, if you're talking, I can't hear you. None of us can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yo.
Tom, like I was gonna ask you, in your
Oh,
or sorry, Sasha, if I'm interrupting you, sorry, I don't mean to.
yeah. I was kind of gonna ask something.
Well, hold on. I want to hear
Okay.
just hang tight for a sec, man. What was your question exposing?
Under your like, let's say in your ideal world, would having an abortion would that be like a crime? And if so, what would be the punishment of that crime?
Yes. It would just be like it would be similar to me to when murders happen to born human beings, and They would do an investigation and they would adjudicate the case in the court on a case by case basis. There are certain people who will do the same murder, the same type of murder, and get two different sentences. I think cases will be looked at along those lines in a similar fashion. I think anybody involved in killing babies deserves to be punished. I don't care if it's the boyfriend taking the woman to the clinic. I don't care if it's the woman herself, the pregnant woman, or the abortionist, piece of trash abortionist doing the killing. I don't care. Any and all persons involved need to be punished because we wouldn't have this sort of inconsistent treatment for killing born human beings. So we need to apply the same standard across the board, whether they're born or not.
I see. Yeah, I did kind of want to ask you about the abortion topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
So do you have like an argument against abortion?
Yeah,
Okay, what's the?
it's very simple.
I'll just
Human
keep it
beings,
in mind. So
yeah, human beings are made in God's image, and you don't have a right to kill them.
Human beings are made in God's image, and you don't have the right to kill them.
That's right. You don't have a right to kill them unless you got a worldview that contradicts the Christian worldview in which you can justify your ethics.
Yeah, I don't believe that we're made in God's image.
Yeah, so where does the right to abortion come from then? If not from the Christian worldview, where does it come from?
Well, rights are typically just like social agreements, right?
So the pro-choice view, in your view, comes from social agreement.
Yeah, like people talk to each other, like reflect on their intuitions.
Yeah. So in countries to where abortion's illegal, those countries are morally justified in your view?
Not in my view.
So which country is correct? The country that outlaws abortion or the country that doesn't?
In my view, it's the country that doesn't outlaw abortion.
Yeah, but to say that that country is justified, you'd have to have something that goes beyond societal appeal.
Well, you asked me where these rights come from, right?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Rights come from.
But you can't say society because not all societies agree.
Do you mean something like a moral right rather than like a legal right?
Yeah. Look, we're talking about justifying abortion. We're having an ethical conversation, are we not?
Sure.
If you're going to say that she has the right on an ethical level to kill her fetus in the womb, where does that come from?
In that sense, I don't think they're like moral rights of that kind.
So, in other words, your view about the pro-choice position is based on nothing.
How does that follow?
Because you're not telling me where it comes from.
I'm telling you that there won't be such things as moral rights in my view. There won't be like any odds or whatever.
So any argument about rights, you're just pulling out of thin air.
About moral rights, I think you can still sort of discuss it. It's like what conforms with your intuitions or whatever. I don't think you're picking out anything about the world. Like you're engaging with other people. Those people have some ethical intuitions, you have some, and you talk to them, and you try to reach reflective equilibrium. I don't see what more you can.
Okay, so my intuitions say you can't kill babies. So what?
Yeah, so we can talk about it.
That's what I'm asking you about. Where do you get this
idea
from?
Questions, right?
That's what. See, I'm being honest about where my foundation is. I'm telling you to be honest with yours.
I am honest about my foundations.
I didn't hear you say a foundation, except for society, which you just asserted that the society that bans abortion would be wrong to you. So that can't be the actual position you're coming from. And then you say, well, I don't believe in like this sort of moral ground or justification.
Yeah, I don't believe there is anything out there in the world that like grounds these moral rights. Or
So your predications for abortion rights are effectively coming from nowhere because you're not grounding them on anything. You're just saying they just.
They're coming from nowhere.
Where are they? They're either coming from someplace or not.
It's just your intuition,
from,
right?
Like, agreements about ethical intuition.
Then tell us
different members of society.
If they're coming from somewhere, how do you know?
How do I know what?
How do you know they're coming from anywhere?
I mean, that's just observable, like the phenomena I described.
No, just because you claim they're coming from somewhere doesn't make that the case.
I didn't say I'm just claiming that it came from somewhere. I'm saying it's observable.
Okay, where are you observing directly where these rights come from?
Well, no, I said that what I'm taking to be going on in the discourse that people have ethical intuitions and like discuss them between each other, try to pump each other's intuitions and so on. That's just like an observable.
I'm asking you directly. I can tell you directly where my views come from, what they're grounded on. You're not telling me specifically what yours are grounded on at all.
No, I just told you. Did you not hear me?
No, you didn't. You said that you don't actually believe there are any moral grounds.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a thing out there in the world. I think people have.
Yeah, so you just didn't tell me nothing. So you literally told me nothing. You just said
I think people have things that they call ethical intuitions, and they make agreements about those. They discuss them and so on. Doesn't mean that there is such a thing.
Are they based on anything or not?
The intuitions?
Are they based on something or not?
Yeah, I'm asking you what are you asking about? The intuitions?
Yeah, you keep talking about these intuitions. Are they based on something or not?
Intuitions are gonna be like traced to our evolutionary history.
So evolution is what you ultimately base them on.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It was a question. I didn't say you said that. I asked you a question.
Like telling you that's what explains the intuitions is just the evolutionary history of humans.
So, is it the case that your ethical views are ultimately based on evolution?
Yeah, I don't know what like ultimately based on means. You're based on intuitions, and those intuitions are explained by something else.
What is it? How do you know they're explained by something else?
How do I know? I just told you. I think the intuitions are explained by our evolutionary history.
Just making an assertion about intuitions doesn't mean that they're based on anything because you assert so.
I mean, it's just gonna be an objective case. I don't know what more you want.
Either you can show that these quote-unquote intuitions are based on something, or you can't.
I mean, it's not important to me whether they like come from evolution or not. And I told you my idea.
So you just pull them out of thin air and run on them as ethical imperatives and justifications.
I don't think it matters where they come from.
No, well then, what?
Tom Locke, take a look at his profile. Look at his profile.
Okay, hold on. Let me take a look.
Yeah, this is Venus from Discord.
It's not a Venus.
I don't know who that guy is.
You don't remember? He's a troll.
I'm not Venus.
Wait a minute, that voice sounds familiar. Now that you've mentioned it.
Yeah, but
that voice does sound familiar.
I go by Sasha on Discord. Just say like I go by here. Also, the PFP is my own.
In other words, he can't tell us where his ethical imperatives come from. One person can intuit. Someone can intuit the opposite.
Sasha, what ultimately metaphysically grounds any assertion you make?
Not sure, man. Not sure what that even means.
Okay, yeah, that's a diversionary response. Okay, do you ever assert things that you believe are true?
Yeah.
What ultimately makes that anything is true?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
Okay, you're gone. Bye-bye. Yeah, okay, you're gone. You're a dishonest piece of garbage. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely trolling.
Okay, see, did you see how quickly I smoked him out? Okay,
Well,
did
it
you
was obvious he
did
was.
you when
Yeah.
you ask them a surgically precise metaphysical question that is germane to what they're saying, okay, they will deploy obfuscation, prevarication.
He clearly
Okay,
lied. I don't know what that
yeah,
question means. He's not stupid. He knows what it means.
okay. So what he was doing was deploying a verbal diversionary response. Oh, I don't know what that means. Okay, and then he's hoping that he can dodge and delay long enough where he can rabbit trail down some other semi-related issue. So do you see how I smoked him out?
Yeah.
Okay, when he says I don't know what that means, that's just another version of. I'm not seeing the relevance to that.
Yeah, that's what
Remember,
they're gonna do now. Just say I don't
remember,
know what that means.
remember, he said he wasn't Venus, but it said on his profile he's a member of the Venus Circle, and he's an Angstrom gang member. Okay, what else do
Yeah,
you need
so
to
he
know?
just lies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These people just lie with impunity, man. They don't care at all.
You see, they want to make assertions, right? Now, when we make assertions, they'll say, "What's the argument for that?" Well, when he makes assertion, I want to know what is the ultimate foundation and basis for anything you say, right? And he knew he couldn't answer it, so he gave a deceptive response because he's a scumbag.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have fundamental answers to these questions. Once again, we're dealing with people who make one assertion after another. They pull crap out of thin air and think they're actually arguing. Um, they think they're actually arguing something legitimately. I'm just. How is it that we could be as Christians transparent about where we're coming from, and these people can't for the life of themselves? They can't just tell us exactly what their metaphysic is. This shouldn't even be difficult.
Um, can you hear me, Tom Lock?
Yeah.
Okay, we have somebody in the audience who is live streaming this, and the person who's live streaming this, who does Clubhouse debates, specifically put in a request for people in the YouTube chat to come in and troll. Okay?
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
So who's live streaming it?
Whoever does Clubhouse debates, but they're probably in here under a different user account. But Clubhouse debates, which
Are they
might be,
streaming it to YouTube?
they're streaming it to YouTube, and the person who does these Clubhouse debates requested that somebody come in and troll. You see, this is what they are. They're scumbags. They're not interested in an honest intellectual debate, right?
Hold on a sec, Darth. How did you find out they were streaming to YouTube?
Because I'm a super genius like Wile E. Coyote. Just do me a favor, periodically play the copyrighted music.
Oh yeah, I got you. I got a whole bunch of
Just do it.
classics.
Just do it intermittently, okay?
Yeah, I'd say probably about I don't know every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, yeah.
So who's the clown in the audience streaming this live?
Isn't it safe to assume it's Tom Rabbit?
Well, obviously, Tom's going to be recording all the time. That doesn't mean he's streaming it, though. He's going to always try to record no matter what. But live streaming is a little bit different. I got to reset my laptop real quick.
Well, we can solve this problem very easily. Okay. So I want each and one of the moderators to keep an eye on who drops out. Okay. Are you looking at the list?
Give me a sec. I'll be right back.
My connection's bad.
Yeah, I think so. It could be mine.
It may be mine. Hold on a second.
Look, he's just asking, are atheists like subject?
Quite slippery and deceptive like that. You got to really pay attention to what he's doing.
No, you make it sound like it's intermittent. It's full time with him.
What do you mean by that? Like he's just obvious about it?
Whatever he doesn't want to address, he'll just segue away, and then if you don't follow him along, he accuses you of being disruptive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Look, when he accused me of hijacking the conversation, how is me asking him to defend his assertion about the efficacy of science hijacking the conversation?
Right. Exactly. Who had modded Shasha? Who modded her? I didn't mod her. Maybe someone did it on accident.
Yeah, you can accidentally do it if you invite them up.
Okay. Well, maybe I accidentally did it. Who knows? I don't recall doing it. So, can we get anyone to tell us? I mean, since this is in effect a worldview issue, can we get anyone to tell us either about where abortion rights come from or on their non-Christian point of view where any ethical imperatives comes from? Which would effectively be a form of atheism, if not atheism entirely. Since you're back on stage, Stasia, why don't you tell us where you get your imperatives from?
I didn't want to go in circles. But like I was saying before, right, the states and government should have limitations on what they can punish an individual for. And there should be justification more so on the side of why a state should be permitted to punish individuals for a particular act based on the impacts on society, and not whether an act is good or bad, but more so whether the outcomes of that act would be more negative than positive, and also weighing the what it will take to enforce such punishment and to justify the guilt of an individual. And from that stance, I feel like what it will take to justify the guilt of a woman or a doctor, or anybody who is associated or engaged in an abortion procedure, will be invasive in their privacy, and it will also possibly scoop up innocent individuals who are already dealing with a hard time and create more stress on their life. So from that, I feel like outlawing will have more of a negative impact than a positive impact overall on society. So that's why I'm
Okay.
pro-choice.
Okay. Do you believe in evolution?
I believe in an individual, a woman, an individual to
Sasha,
decide.
focus. Sasha, focus.
I'm
Do you believe in
pro-choice.
the theory? Okay, Sasha, do you believe in
So
the
what does
theory
it
of
mean to
evolution?
believe in
Sa-
abortion?
Sasha, I asked you a question. Do you believe in the theory of evolution?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe in the theory of evolution?
I'm not really sure. I believe in the theory of
Okay.
evolution, but really the
Do
theory
you,
of
do you believe
adaptation.
that human beings that are members of society are created in the image of God, or do you believe they're the product of evolution?
When you speak of image, are you speaking of a physical image, a metaphysical image, the spiritual image? Image
That
can
we
be
that we have that
interpreted
we
in
have
so
that
many
we have
different
a
ways.
that we have
That's
a
very
mind, a
vague.
will, and wow, man, you are a motor mouth. You must be a joy on a blind date. Okay. When I say image, I mean that we possess a mind, a will, and emotions. We're agents as opposed to the animal world. Do you believe that human beings that make up what we call society are simply and only the product of an evolutionary descent, or do you believe that everybody is made by God and has a mind like God?
I don't believe everybody has a mind like God.
Okay.
And I don't even, but I have
Sasha, do
to
you believe in
premise
God?
that there is a God and God's mind
Sasha,
is of a particular
Sasha,
characteristic.
or to Sasha, this isn't a community college lecture. Do you believe in God?
I am agnostic because I feel like
Okay,
the
okay,
definition of
so
God
there is
is
no
too
God that you're
vague and
invoking. Good.
broad.
So where do you get this idea? Where do you get agency from in a dog eat dog world of evolution and laws of nature? Where do you get agency from?
Get agency from a collective consensus
You're not
understanding.
understanding the question. How is it that if individual human beings are just simply less hairy, more intelligent apes, okay, then how do they have the capacity to be agents? Okay, is a bear an agent?
I don't know. That's something we're still
Okay,
investigating. I
okay,
would say it's evolution.
Sasha, is a bear an agent?
Yes, they have agency over their
No,
own
they do.
behavior.
No, they do. No, they do not. Because we don't lock bears up. Okay, we don't say that a
What? So
bear is.
you saying
Listen,
punishment is what
okay,
validates whether something has.
Sasha, you need to focus. Okay, on what I'm saying to you. Okay, instead of being bickering. Okay, now, do you believe that fish are agents, just like your brother or sister are agents? Do you believe fish are agents?
Okay, I like how you do the stair stepping thing. So, what does agent mean to you so I can answer the
It
question?
means the capacity to make real choices, as opposed to that their behavior is the product of neurological descent and environmental conditioning only. That the creature in
Yeah,
question does not actually have the ability to make real free choices. Is a fish an agent?
based on my view, yeah.
Okay, that's ludicrous. Okay, fishes are not agents; they're biological robots. Okay,
Well, well, we disagree.
is a fly an agent?
Yes.
Okay, see, you don't have the foggiest idea of what you're talking about. So a
Anything that
fly,
has
okay,
choice and is
listen to me.
an animated
No,
being that
you're
has choice
confusing.
on the
You are
direction that they
confusing.
take their life
You
is
are
an agent,
confusing.
basically.
Okay, get
The
out of
ability
here.
to make
You are
choice.
so stupid. All right, you're gone. All right, she's such an idiot. The worst of it is not her ignorance. It's her pride and lack of humility. Okay, she wants to say that a fly is an agent. Okay, that a fish is an agent.
Um, I haven't even heard some of the most radical liberals and leftists argue that flies and fish are agents.
Yeah,
That's weird,
yeah,
a very
yeah.
weird
Say,
view.
Sasha, is a fly an agent, like humans are agents? And she says yes. Okay. I mean, what more can I say? She has no business discussing these issues.
That's just fundamentally just a weird position. I mean, agency, like flies make decisions and choices. What? I don't know what to say, man.
When the question was posed earlier, okay, um, what is it that dictates what is, can be, and cannot be? Her response was to say, "Oh, my experiences." I mean, it doesn't get any dumber than that. Okay.
Experiences.
Yeah.
So your experiences, things that happen in your life, determine all of reality.
Yeah.
Like that's just it can't. I mean, I say like 99% of the people we talk to, have they been taught how to think at all, or did they just not care, or maybe both?
Is it now not crystal clear to you of what a devious, deceptive person Hogtie is? Because his MO today is the same MO that he always deploys. Okay. Right. And so he'll try to put up this facade of cordiality as long as he's not being asked, surgically precise metaphysical questions. Okay. But the moment that he is asked those kinds of questions, the cordiality goes out the window. Then he goes into troll mode. Okay. So he's not an honest intellectual. He's not a stupid individual, but he is dishonest.
You would ask me if he does it. Like I had made a statement about him, and you would responded by saying, "I say X as if he does it intermittently." For me,
He deploys it when necessary.
yeah.
Okay. It's like the police officers when they're called to a scene. Sometimes they'll deploy a taser. Sometimes they'll deploy their service pistol.
For me, see, this is the thing though. In certain conversations I've had with them, he'll make a certain point, but just take a long time to say it. And then at other instances, he'll talk for a long time and not actually answer the point at all. So this is why I'm saying that whenever I'm listening to him, I'm really, really trying to take into account everything he says to make sure he's actually answering the question. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Darth. In my view, he doesn't always dodge. He doesn't always dodge the question, but sometimes he takes a long time to say one thing he could have said in like I don't know 2 or 3 sentences. But other times he'll do the exact same thing and just avoid the question entirely. So I don't disagree with you that he at certain points BS's because I do think he does that. I just think he is very slick at certain instances when he doesn't. That's my opinion of.
How'd you like how we smoked out that other guy,
Oh, that was
Sasha?
great.
Yeah, it was
I
Venus.
don't know what that means. And then
Yeah.
he just lied. I mean, you're just gonna piss on our leg and tell us it's raining.
Yeah, they
Like,
have all these cliches that they verbally deploy when they don't want to answer the question. What's the argument for that? I'm not seeing the relevance of that. I don't know what that means. Now, granted, sometimes those phrases are legitimate responses, but they also will deploy it as a diversionary tactic.
yeah, there was nothing legitimate by him saying that. He's not a stupid dude. He's quite clear about what you're talking about. He just wanted to say that just to avoid answering the question. He's a sniveling little liar.
Well, if he's not Venus, he certainly sounds an awfully lot like Venus. And in his profile, he was stated
It,
that he was in the Venus Club,
yeah.
and he was also in the Ang Gang, which means he's an Jack Angstreich groupie. So what more do you need to know? Okay.
Well, he's taught them well. He's taught them. He's taught them the art of BSery.
Yeah, just make sure that you play copyrighted music periodically and sporadically without warning. Okay.
Indeed, for sure.
Where she's gone, wonder if she's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when you're gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away.
Yeah, just don't have that woman up again. She's just she's
Yeah, I'm
just
probably not gonna have her
she
come back.
she
It's
she's
just
just she's just too ignorant of an individual. Okay. When you actually believe that a fly is an agent, she wants to talk about people who are guilty or innocent. Okay. Um, so when animals do certain actions in the wild, or even maybe harm human beings, are they guilty of breaking the law? When was the last time you saw a bear prosecuted for murder? Well, the good news about the abortion debate is that every person who steps up to the plate and advocates for the legalized killing of unborn babies is they're going to get their comeuppance when they die. They're going to be held accountable for their advocacy of killing the unborn. Okay.
it's a shame, Darth, that this is what these people have to do because they don't like what we have to say.
And all these people would be aghast at Hitler gassing Jews or Poles, in the gas chambers. Okay. Yeah. Well, what are they doing to the unborn?
This is why I resolved in myself like a day or two ago to not even start, not even constantly argue semantics with these people. Just get to the meat of things and to just describe what actually happens in abortions.
They don't care. Some of these people they're so satanic and they're not aware that they're satanic don't even care about the dismembering or the pain that happens, in the developing unborn child or fetus. Okay, they simply don't care. Okay, they have this notion that the earth is overpopulated and that there's too many people on the planet. See, we just went from one crazy idea of overpopulation in the 70s to now in the new millennium. Now we've replaced it with, climate change and global warming. There's too many people. Do you
You
know,
think
I
this
was
is
watching,
ultimately? Go ahead.
well, I think all of this propaganda is about the expansion of government and, a very subtle way to kill babies. Okay. Do you think that in the United States, this applies outside the United States, but in the United States, all of those people politically who so ardently argue for the right to kill unborn babies, do you think that that is not strongly in part the product of their view that there are too many people on the planet? That's certainly a part of it.
Oh yeah, and there's no question about it, man. Because I think once they achieve a certain goal, the useful idiots that they use to instantiate their goals, they're going to do away with. None of this crap has anything to do with any rights in any real sense. It's not like they put forth these views into the public square as if it has to do with some